Hello everyone, you're very welcome to our 11:30 slot of our IT and Technology Virtual Career Series here at DKIT. For this session we're joined by Liberty IT, who are great supporters of DKIT, have a strong partnership both from the student placement internship side and in taking on our students as graduates as well. So we're going to hear more about that, about the opportunities and what it's like to work there by Michaela McCourt, who is Talent Acquisition Specialist with Liberty IT. From Carl Meehan, who's product designer at Liberty IT, and we have also Danny Chute, who is software engineer at DKIT, or sorry, from DKIT, a graduate of DKIT and working in Liberty IT. So plenty to hear in the coming minutes. And I will just encourage you all to as usual, pop any questions you have into the chat and questions function. I know that Liberty IT have been on our virtual campus with some of our computing students over the past week. So learning more about that and from a different angle, from a more career development perspective today as well. So Michaela, I'm going to hand over to you now to take us through the presentation. Thanks a million.
Yes. Perfect. No, thanks for that, Catherine. Like Catherine mentioned, I am Talent Acquisition Specialist, so I'll be the main point of contact throughout the student recruitment process. And I have Danny and Carl with me today as well. So we've basically just put together a couple of slides to give you a bit of an insight to Liberty IT. Danny and Carl are going to give you a lot of information in terms of, what they do in their day-to-day role and their personal experiences. And of course, I will take some time to talk all things recruitment and training, and leaving some time for questions at the end. So like Catherine said, pop anything in the chat. When we get to the end of the presentation, we'll happily spend time to go through all questions with you. But I'm going to hand over to Carl, who's going to kick us off just to tell us a bit more, I guess, about who we are and what we do. So over to you.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, if you didn't know, Liberty IT is a part of Liberty Mutual Insurance. So essentially, Liberty IT are sort of the cogs behind, the Liberty Mutual Insurance, which is a Fortune-ranked company. We are the key drivers, behind their global digital enablement journey. Reimagine insurance by delivering ever more effective service for our customers. So basically saying that, we're the IT drivers behind Liberty Mutual, we provide a lot of their services. And we really do enable them to go further and really excel as a company. About Liberty IT, so I suppose as sort of mentioned, the career here is challenging, uncharted and ever changing. We partner a lot with our business and our customers. We create digital solutions and we do it in a multitude of different ways. There's definitely a lot of innovation in Liberty IT. And the bit that's in bold is definitely true. Everyone has a part to play, every voice is heard, and every idea is considered. From every, sort of position within the company, you're very much, challenged, and you're very much, supposed to take part and contribute. And that goes right into internship up to principal. It's definitely follows for all roles. And it says at the bottom, we do genuinely firmly believe that the one component that makes us so successful is our people. It's what puts us front and center of our global positioning, and that's definitely why we invest in the best, which is why we're here. What I will do as well is just to give a bit of introduction to what we do. And this is definitely not an exhaustive list, but it'll hopefully give you some insight to what Liberty IT does, and some of the different sort of things we try to focus on. So the first one is AI and machine learning. So I suppose with the rapid maturity of AI-driven technologies, it's reshaping the insurance industry, and it provides a much richer customer experience. So at Liberty IT, we are at the heart of that transformation. So whether we're using automated voice to respond to customer queries, or creating complex multi-dollar million computer vision, or using natural language processing and machine learning models, we're using a multitude of different technologies, and we're trying out a lot of new things to try forefront our position, to be the front of this pioneering movement. The next one is sort of cloud engineering. We do genuinely believe the power of the cloud and its importance to helping Liberty Mutual transform the customer experience. By using sort of cloud-based technologies, we're focusing on customer centricity, agility, and cloud-native development. And with that, we deliver more agile, but equally high quality services and solutions. In Liberty IT, we try to follow a serverless first mindset where possible. So this is letting our cloud provider handle all the infrastructure, and it means we lower the operational burden for Liberty Mutual. But as well as that, it also frees our engineers to focus on adding real value to our customers. And you notice that's probably a key message. We're always trying to add that value for our customers. As well as that, we also do consultancy. So because we are such a trusted business partner, and we've been partnering with Liberty Mutual, for over 20 years, we have designed and approached multiple solutions for our business problems. Again, we create value, we improve business capabilities, and we maximize growth and performance for Liberty Mutual. As a company, we research, experiment, and we deploy proven and emerging technologies, and that's really to drive business outcomes. And these are sought out, by our business partners and are really well received. Another important aspect is cybersecurity. So we ensure security is at the center of everything we build. We are continually expanding our knowledge of our offensive critical thinking. We enhance the security of all our products by employing best-in-class security practices. And this is through secure design, secure code, vulnerability tests, automation, and security scanning. So we really are trying to enhance, and build on our security capabilities as an IT company. Liberty IT as well also does quite a bit with data science. We leverage our data and in some classes enriching it with third-party data. And we're building predictive models and unlocking powerful data insights. We are supercharging Liberty Mutual's competitive edge, and that's a lot of that is through data and getting that sort of edge with what data allows. We also try to innovate quite a bit, so I suppose what I like to say is, who says it can't be done? So through collaboration and experimentation, we use our technical expertise to unlock real value for the business. And this is by constantly thinking of ways to push ahead. We up our game to implement change for the better. So again, it's trying to really think outside the box and thinking, what hasn't been done before and what can we try to experiment on that may add value, for Liberty Mutual. And again, with that sort of trusted relationship we have with them, they do let us experiment and, think outside the box. And a lot of the time that has real value for our business. The last part, which I suppose is my main role as a product designer, is product. So again, we build that strong partnership and we have a really deep domain knowledge in the insurance industry. And that really equips us, to turn complex problems into elegant solutions. So we challenge our business partners to experiment and think differently about their problems. I know, in my experience with Liberty IT, it was sort of quite waterfall historically, but we are really trying to drive agile change, and product is a key part of that. And as well as that, we also, get really close to our customers and even our users. So we take the customers on a journey of discovery through sort of product discovery techniques. We amass knowledge, of their product and how they work and what their problems are. And then I suppose after all that, we build and deploy to products and they genuinely really fulfill the business need. So that's it. And I'm going to pass you next to Danny, who's going to talk about how we do it.
Perfect. Thanks very much, Carl. So how we do it? So we do it through like multiple avenues. So for example, you can see a lot of them up here. So Amazon Web Services, AWS Lambda, like Docker, Spring Boot. But like in my own experience, I would be using a lot of AWS. So just to hit back for what Carl mentioned. So for cloud computing, I would be going back and doing a lot of cybersecurity through IAM rules through Amazon. I would also be doing data storage through DynamoDBs, and a lot of the kind of way in which that we like any of the techniques you can see up here on the board at the minute are things that we kind of strive towards and how we grow and produce our products. And then, so now I'm just gonna chat about the experience that I've had going through from being an intern up as far as being a graduate. So during my internship, I was a part of the hosting services with Windows workloads. And at the time, it was all a major learning curve for me. First time I'd ever been a part of any kind of IT. So, you were learning how to be agile in an agile type environment. You were being buddied up with another team member who would help you along the process, kind of show you what they were doing, kind of a lot of pair programming. And as well as that, I also took part in a training academy, which really set me up for my final year degree. Then once I graduated, I started with the claims department with Silence of the Lambdas, and starting off again, a lot of pair programming, really getting to know the whole DevOps kind of route. So that being, across the pipelines and testing your code, redevelopment, ensuring that you're putting out the product that everyone wants, or your customers really want. As well as this, I've also mentioned, getting used to, communication through Teams. Now, I'm sure at this stage we were kind of all getting used to that, so, but really it's a fundamental piece at the minute, and it has been since I graduated and since I've been working. And also just wanted to mention that, like, your path to success is what you make of it. So recently I applied for self-nominated promotion, which I actually got this week, which was quite nice as well. And as I said, like, so basically if you feel that you're ready, you can nominate yourself for a promotion as well, which is really good. So I'll pass you over to Carl, and he'll just go through some of his experiences as well.
Cool, sounds good. So as I sort of said at the start, I sort of have the role currently as a product designer, which is slightly different, take on software, I suppose, as a software engineer. But I still think it's a key point, and there's a lot of sort of key workings between developers and sort of designers. So I suppose to give my insights, I suppose it's into internship and graduate. As an intern sort of coming in, I was on the global specialty sort of division with an application called Surety Workbench, which is essentially sort of issuing surety bonds in the States. But as a designer coming in, I think, and what's really good about Liberty IT, which I didn't find with a lot of other companies, the first year or your first internship is very critical on learning. So it's building up that foundational stuff. And I know Danny mentioned that there is the sort of 5-week training experience, which I'm sure Michaela will talk more. But for me coming in, it's a lot of learning UX and lean UX, using obviously very industry specific tools such as Photoshop and Illustrator, although probably quite legacy at this stage. And really is about getting in, in that agile environment, working within a multifunctional development team, working with their business partners. And for me, if I'm being honest, it's about getting that confidence to really speak to your business partners, which maybe we didn't have before. And again, even in my internship, as I said in the sort of first few slides, is everybody's expected to pitch in. I know even in my internship, I sort of did some front end work on the Liberty Ireland, sort of motor and home coding sort of system. So doing about equative interface development in that, and even as an internship or as an intern, it's good to see the work that you do, making it to production and making it out, into the public facing sites. So it definitely is critical, even at that stage. And then to talk about graduate. So yeah, I did my internship and then got an offer to come back as a graduate, as a product designer. Probably quite unique, but I was on, again, the same sort of division, global specialty, but this stage I was on a global platform, which is sort of doing bond issuance in Brazil. So probably definitely not the norm, but in the first 3 weeks, I was flown out to Brazil for a week, which is quite nice, and really got to build that relationship with our customers and really speak to our end users. So as a designer, it's very much creating that user journey and understanding, the user's pains and frustrations. So getting the chance to go out to Brazil and do it in person was definitely a nice touch. Maybe not with COVID at the minute, but hopefully, it picks back up quite soon. Another wee icon there is really sort of the wee sort of diamond, which is Sketch. So that's a sort of current industry standard tool. So I think it goes to show, even in a year, Liberty IT has sort of understood what the market is and what the current tools to be using are, and they've updated, to Sketch and at the minute Figma in design and other design-related tools. But yeah, using sort of Sketch and Envision is quite a key part, at least of my role. As well as that, it's sort of creating design systems. So a lot of applications that we develop all feed into a central Liberty design system. And again, that's to promote consistency. So being a part of that for me as a graduate is definitely a really, really big thing for me. I suppose as well, with my experience as a graduate, and sort of as Danny mentioned, I also as well went for the self-nominated promotion stage. So at this stage, I'm senior. So I've done the level 2 and now into level 3. And again, definitely I would say the stuff learned in the internship is probably the key stuff, because that's generally what gets your foundation. And even going into final year, doing your final year projects or whatever you need to do, having that domain knowledge and having that agile experience, helps tenfold of what it could, through other sort of ways, I suppose. So that's me, basically.
Perfect. I'll take over from here now, but thanks so much, Carl and Danny. It was really good to hear both your experiences and how you've both started from an intern but moved to a graduate and then both now moved up again. So really good to hear. I'm sure there's no doubt there's still more to come. There's no stopping this now. But I just wanted to spend some time quickly just to say, it's really good for everyone on the call today to hear about what you do day to day and the technologies you use and projects you work on. But I just wanted to kind of give a bit more information in regards to what we do to still stay connected and to stay social. So it's not always just work. As you can see, we have done a lot of virtual events recently. We actually have a social committee that you can join if you want to. They meet regularly to do some get-togethers and events. Again, like you can see, it's all been virtually recently, but hopefully they can start to do some face-to-face in the near future. You can see there we've done some online cooking classes, so learn how to cook pizza and bake scones. We've all kind of gradually met each other's pets and kids throughout the last 18 months as well. And we've done like virtual online exercise classes. So that kind of to the bottom right, you can see a member of our talent team was trying to do an online Pilates class, and it looks like her cat tried to disturb her and join in as well. So that's just the reality of working from home, I guess. But yeah, look, despite being stuck at home the past 18 months, we've all tried to stay connected and still kind of have a bit of fun as well. So in terms of training and development, if you are to join Liberty IT, you will go straight into orientation, which is spread over a week, and you'll be assigned a buddy as well to help you with anything that you need. After that, you'll go into 5 weeks of the training academy, which both Danny and Carl kind of briefly mentioned earlier. This is, I guess, like a mix of you'll do 1 week full-on training, next week kind of working on a project, following week full-on training, and so forth for the 5 weeks. So there's plenty of scope, I guess, to learn and to do lots of on-the-job training. As you can see, just a couple of points there really is a wealth of resources that is available to you during the training academy, but also as you move into your team as well. So you'll have access to LinkedIn Learning, Liberty IT Tech Talks, Danny kind of briefly mentioned AWS. And Pluralsight, I'm not sure if anyone on this call is aware of this, but it is like a training platform for IT kind of software developers. So it's written by experts in the field. Everything that you need is pretty much on here, and you can actually do self-assessment. So if you were to come in and you kind of thought, okay, I know a bit about Java, but I'd like to develop a bit more, you can actually complete a self-assessment, for example, in Java, do the assessment, and it'll give you an outcome in terms of, okay, yeah, this is what you're good at, this is what you need to develop on, and it'll give you a full training program on that. So yeah, really, really good for you to have, especially when you come in and you're going through your training. I obviously haven't been through it myself, as I am a member of the talent team, but I've spoke to recent graduates and interns who've been through it, and the general feedback we get is it is considered a safe place to learn the ways of working, meet some people before you go straight into the team and into the real life world, I guess. So now if you're thinking of wanting to apply, I'm just going to go through our full application process. These are all the dates, so you know exactly what's happening and when it's happening over the next couple of weeks. Our jobs are live, so you can apply today. As you can see, there's no CV or cover letter needed. Okay, so you simply complete an online application form where it will ask you just 1 or 2 questions regarding your education. So, what you're studying, your year of study, where you're studying maybe, so just depending on what job you're applying for. But that's it. The jobs have been open for a couple of weeks now, and I have had a lot of queries from students to say, or it only asked me 1 or 2 questions, or it didn't give me the option to upload my CV. Have I done something wrong? If you're going through this and you're having similar thoughts, don't worry, you haven't done anything wrong. It really is that simple. So you just complete the online application. The applications close on the 22nd of October. Okay, so you've still got a couple of weeks to apply. When the applications close, we will begin shortlisting, and those who are shortlisted will be invited to complete the online technical challenge. Now, this challenge is simply just a coding exercise that we issue through the platform called Codility. It'll be issued from the 22nd and it'll expire on the 31st. So you actually have a couple of days before you want to actually start the challenge. When you start the challenge, you're given 12 hours to complete it as well. So I think generally, it should only take 2 or 3 hours, but you're given plenty of time. So 12 hours is ample time to get that completed. Also, I know there's probably a lot of people that are wondering what it is, or might find it a bit daunting to be doing a technical challenge. We absolutely understand that it can be daunting and people might have a lot of questions about this. So we've actually put together a workshop. So on the 26th of October, feel free, to take note of this date. We're doing a Codility workshop. So if you've been invited to complete the challenge, you will be invited to attend the workshop. It'll be hosted by a recent graduate at Liberty IT, and they will basically demonstrate, how to approach a technical challenge and how to code up a solution in the session. Okay, so they'll walk through everything of what to expect and how to prepare. And obviously during that session will be available for any questions that you have. All right, so you really will get a lot of information to help you with this. If you are successful from the technical challenge, you will be invited to a Recruitment Center. We have 3 dates this year, 9th, 10th and 11th of November. It is all virtual, I'm afraid, so all online. The Recruitment Center is made up of 4 activities, so there'll be 4 sessions, all of which are 30 minutes each. Again, if you're invited to the Recruitment Center, we will be sending you a lot of information in terms of what each session is, how to prepare for it, and what to expect on the day. So you really will get all of this information if you're invited. This is our final stage. So if you are successful, you'll be offered a role with us. So you can expect offers by the 19th of November. That's pretty much it. That's our process. They're the key important dates. So feel free to take note of it so you know what's happening and when to expect each stage to start. Now, in terms of the roles we have available, we are looking for around 15 to 20 associate software engineers. So those are for graduates. As you can see, multiple start dates across 2022. And we're looking for around 20 intern software engineers. So those seeking industry placement, again, various start dates across 2022. Both of these roles, we have vacancies in our Belfast and Dublin office, okay? In terms of how to apply, that's the link on the screen. I think Catherine has actually popped it in the chat as well. So if you click on that link, that'll take you straight through to our student website where you'll see all our student vacancies listed. All of the information in terms of what the role is, the criteria, everything is in the job description. So if you want to have a read, if you feel like you want to apply, then you just apply through that link as well. We did run a Tech Carnival event, which was a student recruitment event a couple of weeks ago. So I will just pop a link into the chat as well. This was just pretty much a day where myself and our talent acquisition lead, I guess, just went through the full recruitment process and tips on how to apply. And then we had some more stories from other employees as well, which range from leaders in our company to graduates and interns. So if you want to just have a look at that link I've sent through, obviously watch it in your own time. There's so much more information on there as well, if you want to just have a read and have a listen. But that is pretty much us. Thank you, obviously, for listening. I know it's a lot of information, so we will actually be around for the next 5 minutes, myself, Danny, and Carl. So I think there's a couple of questions that have come through already. But if anyone else has any more questions, pop them through, and we'll try and answer as much as we can in the next couple of minutes.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Michaela, Carl and Danny. Really great. A lot of information actually to get through that you squeezed into that, but in lovely bite-sized chunks so that I think people will be able to take it on board. But I would encourage people to look back on this presentation, because there's key pieces of information that everybody's shared that I think will help you in terms of making your decisions on your application and on your career path just generally. I think it's been really useful to hear the journeys of Carl and Danny. And just to draw your attention to those YouTube, the Tech Carnival that Liberty has, is this the second or third year? I think definitely the second year anyway of the Tech Carnival, with really useful information on that. So again, lots of supports to you to aid you with that application, but the deadline is looming, so making sure that you are working that as soon as possible. The questions that have come through, and I am going to address them. I suppose one came through, Danny, because I think you're local to us here. You're getting some of the questions aimed at you, so be prepared. Just generally for you, how long have you been working with Liberty IT, and what was the most useful developer skill that you've learned there? And that's coming in from Lee.
I think, right, so basically I started with Liberty IT last July, so just over a year now. And I suppose for me, the most valuable skill I've probably learned is actually kind of looking and testing, really, because at the end of the day, whenever we're going through the process, we have to test it at each stage. So it's quite really fundamental to what we're doing. So it's probably one of the skills I'd have to say that I've really learned a lot about in the past, year and a bit.
Yeah. Great. I might throw it to yourself as well, Carl, in terms of from your perspective as well, just the most useful developer skill that you've learned.
Great question. So I suppose, I'm not directly a developer, but again, I think I would definitely follow Danny. I think it's a lot of testing. And I think the reason why is because we want to get the best solutions out to our customers. So we would test quite rigorously before, they even hit production, and there's multiple stages of, exploratory testing, there's UAT before anything goes live. And I think having, I would definitely second the testing part, because we want to make sure we have gold standard stuff going out. And again, we're trying to build that relationship with our business partners, and they do expect, nothing less than perfection, which 100% I agree is the goal we strive for.
Great. And congratulations to both of you on your promotions as well. And you can see why now with those excellent answers and been able to deal with it in that way. Linked to those questions in terms of the application process, and no CV involved, there's an application, and then as you've lined out, Michaela, the various steps in terms of the codified test and different things like that. I'm wondering from yourself, Danny and Carl, from that perspective, advice for somebody who's really considering seriously now applying for that. Is there anything that you'd like to maybe impart with them to help them with that process?
I think for myself anyway, like if I had to give any advice, it would just be like kind of let your passion for tech kind of shine through. Because at the end of the day, that's kind of what we're looking for, is someone who's passionate about the technology that they're using. Any kind of like experience like that you've even gained from college, like it's massive, so make sure you utilize it as much as you can within your applications, you know.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely. I suppose the thing I would say, especially sort of seeing other students as well go through the same experience, is try to think differently. So if you're trying to approach a problem, we all know there's a multitude of ways of doing it. So what I like to sort of think is, what's a different way of doing it from a different perspective, which is maybe has a different edge on another idea. So for me, and again, it's just a very design thinking sort of thing, but yeah, it's definitely think differently. What's all the way to approach it? There's got to be a different way, and try, again, let that shine through.
Great. Okay. We have come to the end of our time. Just to say a huge thank you to each of you for participating, for sharing your insights and promoting the opportunities at Liberty IT from both an internship placement and a graduate perspective, and just to encourage everybody to follow the good guidance here and get applying.
Perfect. No, thanks so much for having us, everyone.
Okay, take care.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.